pleasant good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome into a bye-week edition of the Morning Huddle. Live here from First Financial Bank. Terry Slavens with you, along with Coach Cliff Watkins and David Bailey, remembering to turn the speaker on. I'm glad to see he's good for something around the bank here. But invite you to stop by. We have some fresh cookies behind us, some coffee. Come by and enjoy the show. And with it being a bye-week, Coach, I didn't want to wait 2 weeks to talk about last week's game. Being early in the season, I wasn't ready for a bye yet. I really wish we were on the football field somewhere tonight.
Right.
You know, another big win for the Eastland Mavericks. You and I talking off the air. Maybe not the prettiest. I mean, it's not a textbook win. Not something you're going to take the film out and say, boys, this is the way to play a football game. But some good things came out of that game, and you're 2-0 on the season.
It is. Anytime you can find a way to win, obviously it's good. Told the guys after the game, you know, we probably didn't deserve, because we were not disciplined, too many penalties, way too many penalties. And that was talked about and hopefully fixed this week. But the kids kept fighting, kept believing, and found a way to win. Anytime you can learn from a win is a lot better than learning from a loss.
Much better. And let's go back to the first half of last week, Coach. And probably, I mean, the second half, only 3 possessions. The first half, we had some opportunities. You know, we did some good things in the first half, but penalties were the big problem last week. We had some drives stall out because of penalties, and I'm sure not only since the game, but at halftime, you and your staff probably addressed some of that at halftime.
Yes, that's what we talked about at halftime. Especially, we had 9 penalties on the game offensively, and that is that can't happen in win ball games. Our first 2 series, we go down and score, and then from there, like we told them at halftime, you know, Clyde did some good things, but Clyde didn't stop us a whole lot. We stopped ourselves with penalties. Like we talked just a minute ago, we had one series, we had 3rd and a half a yard. We have a false start penalty, backs us up to 3rd and 5. We get the first down the next play, but we have a holding call, so it goes to 3rd and 15, stalls the drive, and we have to punt. And we cannot stop ourselves and expect to go win football games.
And one thing about it, you know, with those stalled drives, it changes field position a lot of times also. We're not able to get the ball down where we need to and give the opponent a short field. Puts a lot of pressure on our defense.
It does. And, you know, like you said, field position is huge, being able to play on their end of the field. And when we had penalties and back up and punt, that's not the case. And so, you know, the defense had a few penalties, not near as many as we did offensively, but the good thing about defensively, had some kids playing some different positions and had some kids out, but they stepped up, and especially the second half, stepped up and shut them out and made some adjustments and played pretty well defensively the second half.
26-21 at halftime as Clyde took the lead into the half at the halftime. Third quarter scoreless. It's a scoreless third quarter, both teams exchanging punts. And then we go to the fourth quarter and a long drive by the Clyde Bulldogs that ate up a lot of clock. You know, we're going to go back to earlier play in the game in that drive. Our defense that came up big, their offense was leaving the field, our defense was leaving the field, and all of a sudden we look out there and we've got a spot that is very favorable for the offense, and they give them a first down.
Yes, it's 4th and less than a yard. Probably, if I remember right, it's about their own 35-yard line, and Clyde decides they're going to go for it and get a great push they run a quarterback sneak, great push by the defensive line. And going back and looking at the film, we did stop it, and we knew it. Clyde knew it. Clyde's offense is running off the field. Our offense is running on the field. And all of a sudden, the referee from their sideline comes off and spots the ball and gives them the first down. You know, and that's tough. That changes the momentum of the ball game. But the great thing about our kids, they went back out there and went back to work. They didn't dwell on bad call, bad this, didn't matter. We went back out there, played good defense. They punted the ball. They got us the ball back.
Well, that's the thing. A play like that could have been very demoralizing to a defense, but instead, like you said, they went out there, they took care of business, and then Clyde ends up 1st and goal, I believe at the 6 is where they started, 1st and goal from the 6. They got it inside the 5, actually got it down, I think, to about the 2-yard line, and then we come up with a big defensive stop on 4th down, and we take over 1st and 10 from our own 4-yard line. At down 5, and, you know, with 96 yards to go, I believe at the time about 6 minutes left in the ball game. And the offense really went to work and clicked. And one thing, and and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the 40-second clock really helped out in time management in that ball, during that possession there. As we ran the ball and I think scored with about 1:30 left and they converted the 2-point conversion. That's huge for a high school team to go 96 yards with 14 plays.
It is, and especially, like you said, a lot of things didn't go right, and mostly didn't go right because of us. We hurting ourselves, just not being disciplined. And that's one thing that we've concentrated on and we will have fixed. But like you said, it's inside the 5-yard line. They're up 5 and they have the ball. You know, not looking good for the Mavericks. But our kids kept fighting, kept believing. They knew they were going to win the ball game, find a way to get a stop. And then, like you said, we're at our own 4-yard line, and we got to get out of the hole to change the field position. But they kept picking up first downs, converted a few third downs, and found a way to get in the end zone.
And actually, I believe it's been a week and I've slept since then, but the scoring play, was that on 4th down?
It was 4th and goal from the 5.
4th and goal from the 5, and we got it in the end zone and then converted the 2-point conversion.
Because that put us up 1, so we went for 2 to get up by 3.
Right.
And we converted.
And so a great job. And it left them with about 1:30
Yes.
on the clock to do something offensively, and they were unable to do so. Thanks again to our defense.
Yes.
You know, we had a big sack in there on that possession. I believe, if I remember correctly, maybe Braden Blackwell was a sack on that drive, if memory serves me correct. But it dropped them back into their own territory,
right.
And then we went into a prevent defense, dropped everybody back, and won the football game. So heck of a job to come up with that win. Winning ugly, we'll take it. You know, it's a W. No matter, you know, nowadays it doesn't matter. But a great job by the Eastland Mavericks and the coaching staff. I mean, like I said, time management was awesome in that drive there. Looking at some individual stats, Josh Gosnell was our lead, or no, actually Chris Martinez, our leading rusher. 18 carries, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. You and I mean, how exciting is it to know that not only do we have him for 8 more games this week, or this year, but then we have 8+ games, counting the playoffs, but we have him for at least 20 more regular season games over the next 2 years.
Right. And Chris is doing a good job. Austin Forbes is doing a good job as well. And those guys will continue to compete. And Chris, he just got to continue to get better. And he missed some stuff in pass protection the other night, and got to get better at that. And both got to get better at holding on to the football. But a lot of positives, and look forward to seeing him grow as we go forward.
We put the ball in the air 36 times, 24 of them completed. No interceptions for Josh Gosnell for the second game in a row. He throws for, what did he throw for, 2 touchdowns?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 TDs, 203 yards, just another day at the office for Josh.
Right. He did a good job again. Forced a couple balls, but the receivers did a good job turning into defenders and knocking those balls down. 36 times, it seems like a lot, but he did throw a lot of short, quick stuff, quick screens as well in that. But he's doing a good job in understanding the offense.
Our player of the game last week, Matthew Majors, 12 catches, 135 yards. Heck of a night offensively, but maybe one of the biggest plays that he made all night long was in the end zone when he had to turn into a defender and bat that ball that was headed right for an interception.
That was on the 3rd down, right before the 4th down touchdown. The ball was underthrown, and Matt did a good job coming back and turning into defender, knocking the ball down. He actually did that a couple times the other night, but he's doing a great job. Matt's a great route runner, got great hands, and he's doing a good job.
Doing a good job there. Also catching the ball 7 times, Chris Martinez out of the backfield for 37 yards. Easton Sanderson had some really nice catches last week as well. As one sticks out in my mind. The ball was still a little bit behind him, and he had to come back for it and get it. Nice job for him. Spread the ball around again, not as much as week 1, but still 5 different people in on the receiving end of things.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. You know, everybody's got to be able to contribute, and everybody is doing a good job. Got to be able to spread the ball around so there's not one person that somebody can key in on.
We talked about last week the Clyde defensive line, and they were, as advertised, very athletic and very strong. And in the first half, maybe controlled the line of scrimmage a little bit, but the second half, especially on that 96-yard drive, our offensive line really dug their heels in and did a great job opening up some holes.
They did. We talked about going into the game. We challenged our O-line. We knew that was the best part of Clyde's defense was their defensive line. Not only were they big, they were athletic, could move, and they did. Gave us some problems early. And but as you said, as we went through, offensive line continued to compete and get better as the game went on. And by the third, fourth quarter, started to take control of the line of scrimmage.
And Coach, defensively, some big numbers here. Caleb Honey in on 14 tackles. Juan Ojeda in on 10 tackles. Clay Carper in on 13 tackles with 9 unassisted. Same for Dylan Miller, 9 and 3. Stephen Heinzman, 8 unassisted. I mean, defensively, a great job all the way around.
Yes, a lot of guys getting to the ball, and that's one thing we talk about all the time is we got to get 11 hats to the ball. And so there's a lot of guys swarming the ball and getting there and getting around the football.
Coach, we're going to take a break and remind everyone that if you missed the broadcast of the Morning Huddle, you can log on to eastlandcountytoday.com. Probably around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon and watch a video recording of it. That's eastlandcountytoday.com. We're going to take a 3-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some results around the district last week, upcoming games in the district tonight, and some junior high and JV football. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on KATX Sports.
Henrietta start out 3-0.
Comanches at Cisco. I heard Coach West say on his Morning Huddle, have to avoid the letdown. That's all propaganda coming from Coach West, because I guarantee you there was no, he made sure there was not going to be a letdown this week against Comanche.
There will be no letdown.
Holiday at Clyde. Clyde could very easily be 2-0. Holiday is 2-0. I see Clyde winning this football game at home and getting their first win of the year.
I haven't seen any film on Holiday, but I do expect Clyde to come out with their first win. Like you said, they're 0-2.
By 8 points.
Yeah, they could very as well be 2-0. So I look for Clyde to win at home.
Itasca at Millsap. Know nothing about Itasca. Don't know how that game will turn out. So Paradise at Jacksboro. Last week Henrietta 20, Paradise 13. Paradise maybe a little better than I was giving them credit for.
Right, that's a game we talked about last week and talked about Paradise had been down the last couple of years, and then it was a close game. So that's a game be interesting to see as well. See how Jacksboro matches up with Paradise and kind of compare that to Henrietta last week.
And then Ponder is at Nakona. Don't really have much of a gander on Ponder. Don't know much about him. Nakona, of course, got blown out last week by Munster, but Munster, a very, very talented football team for the last several years. Windthorst at City View. This is when you start seeing these teams start playing each other teams from our district.
Windthorst played Holiday last week.
Then we can start comparing some apples to oranges maybe on that one. But probably at City View maybe picks up another win.
I would expect.
Last night, JV Black in action. How'd that go?
Got beat 33-16. Was up early 16-0. And that's 2 weeks in a row the Black team has been up and didn't finish the ball game and came back and got beat. They just got to go out and keep getting better. They're still learning new stuff. They just got to keep fighting and keep getting better. And probably going to get 2 guys that have been injured and not played in either game yet. Probably get 2 of those guys back for that team this week, and that'll be good for those guys to get back out there and help their team out.
And junior high, we had the bye week. You never found any. I've been out of town, so you don't able to find any games. But did y'all do some scrimmage, some inter squad stuff, or what?
We just kind of got off the field, coaches, and tried to simulate a little bit of stuff with them out there on their own since they didn't have a game, and get them some little bit of live reps. And they're doing a good job getting better. Excited to see those guys play next week. We'll have 3 games. The Black team will start probably about 4:30, and then following that will be the 7th grade and then the 8th grade, all here against Breckenridge.
Breckenridge Junior High here, JV Black and Red at Breckenridge next week on Thursday night.
The Black will start at 5 o'clock, Red
6:30.
6:30. Yes, whenever that game.
And then of course it's homecoming for the Eastland Mavericks here next week as they host Breckenridge. We'll talk about that game next Friday. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and take a break, our final break, make it a 2-minute break. When we come back, Coach Fambro joins us to talk defense. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on KATX Sports. And welcome back into the Morning Huddle here on KATX 97.7, live from First Financial Bank. It's a bye week for the Mavericks, but we're still talking Maverick football. And have a special guest joining us today. Since we don't have a game to preview tonight, we're bringing Coach Fambro. He's our defensive coordinator. And Coach, first of all, welcome to Eastland and welcome to Eastland Maverick football.
Well, thank you, and it's good to be here, and my family and I are excited to be in Eastland and be a part of the school and the football program here.
You know, a lot of the talk around the area as preseason stuff came out, they say, well, the Eastland Mavericks have a new head football coach. There's going to be a lot of adjustments and everything. And I kept saying, no, I don't see it that way offensively because Coach Watkins does a lot of the same things we've done for the last 6 years. It's just different terminology and you know, huddling is something different. But we brought in a new defensive coordinator. Tell us about your approach defensively, how things are going with your squad as you implement the Coach Fambro defensive scheme to Eastland football.
So far it's going good, and it's offensively there was a lot of similarities between last year's scheme and what we're doing now. Defensively, they went from a 3-3 stack to a 3-4, and I know Eastland at one point ran a 3-4. I'm not sure the kids that we've got right now what their background in 3-4 was. I know they've been running a 3-3 stack. Secondary play is different. The defensive line play is different. So it's a lot of learning for our kids. They're picking it up, and you know we've tried to put the last month the base package in and get them to understand the base package, and as they get better and start understanding, we're adding new schemes and adding new concepts, and there's lots of wrinkles that we'd like to have in already, but we haven't. You know, we're not going to put them in until we can run them effectively.
Until you can execute them and,
Yes,
and so forth. And of course, that's why you have non-district games to work on these
Yes,
things. And hopefully, you know, we have one more non-district game remaining on our schedule, and then we open against Sept, and each week you can add a little bit more to the scheme. But you know, these kids, I'm sure had always been in the 3-3 stack because Coach. Our previous defense, Cavalier has been in charge for four out of the 6 years that Coach Hewlett was here. Clay Carper, 21 tackles total on the season, 13 solo, 8 assists. Hector Velez, 19 total. Caleb Honey, 16. Kleinsman, 15. Bailey, 15. I mean, we got some guys putting up some big numbers. And we have two that only played one game, one being Gus Barker in the first game had a whale of a ball game, and then Dylan Miller coming back this past week, and Dylan Miller is a big addition to that defense.
Yes, sir. It's been good, and some of the kids are picking it up faster. You know, Clay was a kid that started for us at inside backer. After the scrimmages, we looked at the 4 guys that we had playing inside backer, and we decided we needed to get 3 or 4 of those guys on the field at the same time, so we made the move when we moved Clay Carper to an outside linebacker, and he's excelled since we moved him there. Extremely smart kid, does not make many mistakes, and you know, does a good job at outside backer.
And Coach, you came from Hebron High School. You do have head coaching experience, having been the head coach up at Sudan. I know you said, we talked off the air, glad, you and your family, glad to be back in rural Texas.
Yes, sir. That's we enjoy. You know, my kids started school in a small school, and we went and tried the Metroplex, and we're at a 5A high school for 3 years, and you know, there was things we liked. I wasn't real fired up about my kids growing up in that side of the school, and it's been a very good move for us to be back in a small town. I have family close to the area. My wife has family close to the area, so you know, we're excited about being in Eastland.
Coach, we're out of time. I mean, you're welcome. I got you out of class for a little while.
Thank
You know,
you.
we'll bring you down there and get you out of
Yes,
class.
sir.
Look forward to seeing the new wrinkles being added to the defense, and congratulations on being 2-0 on the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's going to do it for the morning huddle here from First Financial Bank. I want to say thank you to Coach Cliff Watkins and also Coach Fambro. Thanks to my engineer back in the studio, Matthew Householder and Lee Lewis. This is the way it's really done. Thank you for your time this time. The next time, I'm Terry Slavens. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone.
Terry, great job.